Good morning. Welcome to morning meditation. It is great to have you with us. And, I just have a few meditations this morning. It's one of these things that sometimes you think about it and thoughts come. This First Corinthians reading, when you first read it, it's like, what are you going to do with this? Brothers and sisters, the Spirit scrutinizes everything, even the depths of God. Among men, who knows what pertains to the man except his spirit that is within? Similarly, no one knows what pertains to God except the Spirit of God. Okay. I think Paul, right? Often complicated. It was funny, a little bit funny. As I was talking about, I read Augustine's a little piece about Monica and her children as she was dying. It was, Augustine's not easy, and people came to me afterwards, who the heck can understand Augustine? Well, he's got some pretty cool things, but not the easiest read. Paul is not the easiest read. And so, brothers and sisters, the Spirit scrutinizes everything. By the way, this is from 1 Corinthians 2, 10b. Maybe I should check. But as is written, what eye has not seen, ear has not heard, and what has entered the human heart, what God has prepared for those who love God. This God has revealed to us through the Spirit. For the Spirit scrutinizes everything, even the depth of God. Among human beings, who knows what pertains to a person except the spirit of the person that is within them? Right? Paul is saying, we can't really know in any kind of deep way with just our human perceptions. Similarly, no one knows what pertains to God except the Spirit of God. We have not received the spirit of the world, but the Spirit that is from God, so that we may understand the things freely given us by God. And we speak about them not with words taught by human wisdom. And we speak about them not with words taught by human wisdom, but with words taught by the Spirit, describing spiritual realities in spiritual terms. Now the natural person does not accept what pertains to the Spirit of God, for to him it is foolishness, and he cannot understand it because it is judged spiritually. Whew. This is a mouthful, and I'm only going to take a shot at what this could mean. And this happened when I was St. John's, and got distraction. In one of the classes I had, actually in two of the classes I had out there, the professor boldly proclaimed there is no truth. And in one of them, then we were getting in an argument about some minor thing. And I said something like, what are we arguing about? If there is no truth, there is no truth. There's nothing to get to. And then someone looks at me and said, that guy's right. And then he said, well, there has to be some truth out there. Some truth, we shouldn't beat the hell out of each other. Something. There's got to be some minimal sort of truth, it seems to me. Okay. St. Augustine says this: we cannot discuss a method in theology and science or art or music if we do not believe that truth exists. And so, anyway, but I think the basic thing that Thomas says, if I remember correctly, is that truth is found, but it is at great cost and difficult. It's not easy. If we want to come to the fullness of truth, or the truth in any, there's certain things that are more obvious than others, but if we want to come to truth, it requires work. There's another discussion I had one time, and I can't remember exactly how it was. And, I was talking about it, and I said, well, Aquinas said this, as what it meant. And he said, well, we can disagree with Aquinas. I said, we can disagree with Aquinas, but we need to do the work that Aquinas did to come to his conclusion. We need to know both sides of the argument. We need to know the angles, and we need to prepare to be wrong when further information comes in. But oftentimes, it seems to me, in our modern world, we will dispense with the work of coming to the truth. It will be just, I think it, so it is so. Right? And so, and I don't know that our schools really push us very much, push us into a deeper realm of, hey, is that really right? And so we consider that anyway. We think about that if we're going to get truth, hey, according to Paul today, it needs to be in some way spiritual. If we're not connected to God, according to Paul, we maybe can know something about atoms, but we cannot know really much about life. We're not connected to the Spirit of God. Anyway, challenges. But we have the mind of Christ, right? And so this great line from Paul in that reading. Okay, that was number one. The essence of truth, and that we need to work for it if we're going to have it. The simple, well, I think, well, have you done any studying? Have you done any real work to come to that opinion? Okay, then do your homework before you come to monumental truths. That would be Thomas Aquinas. Okay, but I would agree with that. And maybe I haven't done a lot of work to come to that, but no, I've done some work to that. I've done a lot of thinking about that. The second thing we have today is we have switched over now. So we are coming to September. We're in the 22nd week of ordinary time, and we are going to finish the year. So it is almost like 1 through 11, Mark's Gospel, ordinary time weeks 1 through 11. Then 12 through 20, don't quote me exactly on that, but it's pretty close to that. 11 to 21 is Matthew's Gospel. And now 22 to 33 is the final week, we get from Luke's Gospel. Now, an interesting thing that I was considering this morning is why Mark's Gospel is first, whereas in the weekend lectionary, it's Matthew, Mark, Luke. In the daily reading, we get Mark first, then Matthew, and then Luke. And then I tried to Google that. Why is the lectionary the way the lectionary is? Or what's the history of this daily Mass lectionary? Nothing came up on that. That's not saying there isn't something written on that. But it was not found in an easy Google search. So Google does not know everything. Neither Wikipedia did not have an answer. And so there are things yet to be discovered. A couple of theories, though. One is that in the first part of the year, it gets all chopped up because of the Lent and Easter season. So you get them all chopped up. Now, Matthew as the first gospel, and the reason it's placed the first gospel in the Bible is that it's the gospel of the church. And so it is possible in my mind, the reason they didn't want the gospel of the church, Matthew's gospel, put at the beginning of the year was that it would get chopped up. And you actually lose weeks because of the way you get overlapping stuff with ordinary time, Lent, and Easter. And so if you want to read it in a continuous level, you kick Matthew to the middle of the year, and that's basically after, it is after the Easter season. Then you can read all of Matthew's gospel in one shot. Same thing with Luke. We get all of Luke's gospel in one shot. Another thought was that it could be that Mark's gospel, it became recognized that by most scholars, this is still debated, and I don't like to make a ton of a big deal about this, what is written first and second. It is thought by some that Mark is written first, or by many, I should say, that Mark is written first. It's the shortest. It's very the least embellished in most of the parts, although the passion is the longest in Mark. So interesting about that. All kinds of theories, but like I said, I would rather spend more time reading Mark than theorizing about why Mark did what he did, or etc. Mostly. So that's possible that Mark was first chronologically, then Matthew chronologically, then Luke. This is possible. Thought. That's the way it's thought that it's written, and could well be. We move now to Luke, and of course in Luke's gospel, we skip the first 4 chapters before we get to it. Because when we do the daily Mass readings, we leave out the birth stuff and all that stuff. We start, and the baptism, we start with his mission. And so we started yesterday with him almost getting thrown over the cliff. But we missed that one because we were reading the death of John the Baptist. Okay. So we missed him being thrown over. Today we get to the demoniac. And that is good stuff. And then just to give you a bit of an overview, on Wednesday we get Simon's mother-in-law was afflicted with a fever, all the people healed. So today it's spiritual victory. He wins over the demon. Then it'll be physical with tomorrow it's the healings. And then we go to Thursday. Put out to deep water. It's the storm at sea. And so, right, demons, physical sickness, powers of the earth, the power over the sea. And then we go to the teaching on the new wines and wineskins on Friday. And so the teaching becomes authoritative. Right? He's got authority over wind. He's got authority over demons. He's got authority over sickness. And then he has the authority to teach. Like the teachers of old, like the power of God, like Moses. And so Luke is unraveling over and over. Who is this Jesus? Who is he, and what can he do? Okay. And so we see this. And this is not necessarily an unsimilar pattern from Mark, Matthew. A lot of those same themes that at the beginning of the gospel, at the beginning of his mission, they proclaim how he had power to do what it is he got to do. Proclaim the kingdom of God. Why should we believe in him? Because he has the power, the might, and ultimately is the Son of God. Okay. Lord, fill us with your truth. Fill us with the desire to seek you in all things and not to take the easy route when it comes to knowing you and your ways. We ask your blessing on this day. We ask your blessing on those who remember, especially in our prayers this day. Children starting school today, ask prayers and blessings on them. Thank you for this time. May your blessing be with us. And may your blessing, Lord, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, fill us, bring us closer to you. Thank you for joining us for morning meditations. We do this at Tuesday through Friday at 9 a.m. Great to have you with us. Peace. Have a great day.